own children will rise up and kill you.
All right.
Why would Sharon take Neil on the other murder? You suppose?
There are many levels to that, and I can say...
Is there a simple reason?
There are a number of reasons. One, he explained to you, specifically, it was to get a brother out of jail.
Did it work?
Did
he get out of jail?
The motive was to get a brother out of jail. That is one...
I keep hearing love of brother. Love of brother. What does it even mean? Who created that? Who made up that term? Where did it come from? Did Manson make up that term? I think it came from here. It originally came from here. Love of brother. What does love of brother mean? I love my brother so much, I'm going to go kill another human being for him. Huh? I think love of brother means you would die for somebody. Maybe in my sort of language. In her sort of language, love of brother means we're going to go out and kill, and we're going to get my brother out of jail. Who really wanted Bobby out of jail? Was it her, or was it Manson? Did Manson really give a shit if Bobby got out of jail? I don't really think so. What benefits was Bobby bringing to Manson? None. What benefits was coming to her from Bobby? She had a kid, basically. That was Bobby's. And this love of brother bullshit that we did it because of love of brother, well, if that was actually the motive, she should have very well got her wish and went to prison, because she is also part of the conspiracy to commit murder. Love of brother.
Okay, we went to war. Now he's talking about war. You call it crime. We called it war. We were at war. And I say we, I refer to Pat Krenwinkel, Leslie Van Houten.
I understand that.
We did it. She always says we, you know, she's always we, me, meaning Leslie, Pat Krenwinkel, we. She always includes herself like that. I think so badly she really wanted to be involved, because she wasn't really involved in anything in her entire life. We did it to stop the war. We. Now she sounds like hippies, because hippies were doing shit like that to stop the war. But then later on they'll claim, you know, we weren't hippies, we were slippies. So we do a lot of talking for Charles Manson all the time. And we, when we talk, we really are talking for me rather than we. Stop the war. Give me a break. Stop the war. Why then murder Sharon Tate? Because her dad was involved in the military? Give me a... I've also heard the Manson family say, we have our babies out on the ground. And most of them did. Manson even bit the umbilical cord off of one of the babies. But we went to the hospital to have our baby. There's all kinds of discrepancies in this we story all the time. I mean, I like her passion and everything, but honestly, I think it was me driven more than we driven. Just as it is today, it's all me driven rather than
I got a comment, and in it said, why don't you do something about Sandra Good? Her and George Stimson have been taking advantage of Manson since day one. And I said, yeah, I'll do that for you. Because actually I was actually writing about her anyway. She, you know, she's in my book too. Look, there she is. That's more how I picture her than that. But she's in there a couple different ways.
So while all the Manson family was out having their babies out on the ground, she was out having hers in a hospital, and she missed all the fun. And then later on, being a distraction in the courtroom, not listening to the rules of the court, got kicked out. And then from there on out, sat out on the corner and became a distraction every day. For Charles Manson, actually. I don't think that them girls out on that corner did Manson any good. All it made it look like that he was a cult. And she helped every bit of that. Because every day it was out like they were worshiping Charlie out on the corner. Was that really doing him any good? Because they were calling him cult leader. They were following in line exactly. Why were they doing that? because they were basically posing for the media, because they were sucking up the media's money, they were sucking up the media's food. Whatever the media would give them for whatever that they gave them, that's what they went along with. So a lot of that stuff that you even seen down on the corner, like the girls posing looking all mean with knives, that was all set up and posed. And these people went along with it. They went right along with it. Almost like they were on the district attorney's side to put Manson in jail, if you really look at the story. So, yeah, you know, looking into this whole thing, I ran across an article here, and let me read it to you. It's pretty good. It's about her, and it kind of sums up the whole thing of her. I think she was looking for attention. I think maybe she was one of the people in the family, not the Manson family, but her own Good family, that didn't really get a lot of attention, because it sounds like the other sister got way more attention. And yeah, she had another sister. Her other sister was one of the first people ever documented in a book, because there was a book written about the other sister. Even though this is probably the more famous sister, the other sister got a book. So, in that book, it was written that that other sister of this was the first documented hippie ever of the 1960s. That was the first time that hippie was ever used with another person, with a person in relation to a person, a hippie. It was her sister. So she was always kind of following in the footsteps maybe of her sister. Her sister knew all the big people too. She even knew the acid dealer that gave the acid to the Grateful Dead. She even knew the Grateful Dead. Yeah, a lot of things. This girl, she got some money from her dad, jumped on an airplane, came down, joined the Manson family, and went out on the corner and started trying to become what maybe she thought her sister was. I don't know. I never really liked her much. I didn't think she's ever done Manson a bit of good. And there you have it. I'm back to work on writing on this book. Thanks for the comments. I appreciate them. I appreciate them so much. I made a video for you. So comment again. What do you think about her? Do you think she did Manson any good? Because I surely don't. I don't think none of them did Manson any good. I don't think Lynette Frome did Manson any good. I don't think she did him any good when she went out there and pulled a gun. And Manson, I don't think he did himself any good either. Don't get me wrong. He never did himself a bit of good. But they didn't help, you know? And if it would have been me if I would have been Manson sitting there, I would look at it as like, hey man, you hurt me rather than help me. But he didn't look at it that way, because he liked any kind of attention that he could possibly get. And so did she. And so did they all. And that created the Manson family. Well, anyway, let's read this article, and then we're going to get out of here, because I got to finish this thing. I really have a deadline, and I'm working on it. I'm not just bullshitting every video here. I'm working really hard on this thing. And I'm working to do a very good job at it rather than make a really shit job at it like some people do just to sell you things. So, with all that said, let's read this article. I try my best to forget her, the woman said, but she keeps coming back to haunt us. All I can say now is that we have done our best to forget, to put it out of our minds. I've gone through the guilty phase, the sleepless nights, wondering if I could have changed anything. The words are those of an anguished mother, whose daughter, Sandra Good, along with Lynette Squeaky Frome, was an early disciple of Charles Manson. Miss Frome, charged with attempting to assassinate President Ford, lived with Miss Good, 27, in a Sacramento attic. She was questioned by authorities after the alleged attempt on Ford's life, but was released. Her mother, in an interview with the San Diego Union, recalled the time Sandra was alleged to have said, "I have finally reached the point where I can kill my parents." She's still afraid of her daughter after that remark and consented only to an interview if her name and address were not used. Sandy's parents were divorced when she was 4, the woman said. Twice, she said, Sandy nearly died of respiratory ailments. Those times the doctors told me she was dead, the woman recalled. Once I even left the hospital after they told me she died. They called me back. Why did she have to pull through? The woman has not seen her daughter in person for 5 years, she said.
I saw her on television after that horrible thing in Sacramento, and I couldn't help but feeling sorry for her, even as afraid of her as I am. When something like that happens, it haunts you. It hurts so badly. No matter what, you can't get rid of the blood that flows there in that girl. It's mine.